The meeting between President Donald Trump and the President of the European Union and the President of Ukraine was seen as one of the most significant diplomatic encounters of recent years because it brought together leaders who represent different regions with different challenges and different interests, but with the shared goal of maintaining stability, security, and cooperation in a changing world. The gathering took place at a time when global politics was under heavy strain due to conflicts, trade disputes, and security concerns in Eastern Europe. The presence of Ukraine made the event even more important since the country has been at the heart of the ongoing conflict with Russia and has been seeking stronger support from both the United States.
President Putin today, we're going to call President Putin right after this meeting. NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte has been with me from the beginning, one of the first people I met.
European Union. President Trump entered the meeting with his usual style of projecting strength and highlighting his role as a negotiator who can achieve deals that others have failed to secure. He emphasized that the United States has always stood for peace and stability, but at the same time he made it clear that America will not carry the entire burden alone. He told the leaders that it is important for the European Union to take more responsibility for its own defense and security, while also continuing to support Ukraine in its struggle against aggression. The President of the European Union responded by stressing unity among member states and the importance of transatlantic ties. He underlined that the European
security guarantees how to be sure that it won't happen again, which is the precondition of every kind of peace. I'm happy that we will discuss about that. I'm happy that we will begin from a proposal, which is the, let's say, Article 5.
It's a pleasure to be here, and it's a very important moment. Indeed, we are here, Europeans, as friends and allies. We had a fantastic NATO summit. Together as the two largest and biggest economies in the world, we have...
The Union is committed to working with the United States, but that it also wants to be treated as an equal partner rather than a subordinate. He mentioned that Europe has increased its support for Ukraine financially and militarily, and called on Washington to remain fully engaged, because the challenge of defending freedom in Eastern Europe cannot be met by Europe alone. The President of Ukraine used the opportunity to present the reality of his nation and the suffering of his people. He spoke about the destruction caused by war, the loss of lives, and the struggle of ordinary families trying to survive under constant threat. He asked for more direct support from the United States and the European Union, including military aid, financial assistance, and stronger sanctions against Russia. He made it clear that Ukraine is not just fighting for its own survival, but also for the stability of Europe and the credibility of democratic nations worldwide. The three leaders engaged in long discussions about security strategy, energy dependence, and economic stability. President Trump pushed for new trade arrangements that would benefit American industries, while also offering to support Ukraine in ways that could strengthen its independence from Russian influence. He said that America is ready to supply energy resources to Europe and Ukraine so that they are not forced to rely on Moscow. Despite the disagreements, the meeting ended with a joint declaration that reaffirmed support for Ukraine and commitment to transatlantic unity. All three leaders announced that they will strengthen coordination on sanctions against Russia, increase military cooperation, and explore new energy partnerships. They also agreed to establish a regular consultation framework to ensure that decisions are made more swiftly and with greater unity in the future.
But their own security is clearly at stake in this situation. So you can count on us, as we can count on you, in order to deliver this robust peace for both Ukraine and Europe.
Thank you very much.
The symbolism of the meeting was powerful. It showed that despite differences in tone, strategy, and priorities, the United States, the European Union, and Ukraine remain bound together by a shared commitment to freedom, sovereignty, and peace. The Ukrainian president left the meeting encouraged that his country is not being abandoned and that both America and Europe understand the stakes. President Trump framed the event as a success, declaring that he had once again proven his ability to bring tough leaders together and to secure commitments that will benefit not only the United States, but the wider world. The European Union leader called the meeting difficult, but necessary, stressing that democracy is strongest when allies stand together. The Ukrainian president spoke emotionally about the hope it had given to his people who continue to endure suffering. In the end, the meeting highlighted the complexity of modern diplomacy. It is not only about making deals, but also about maintaining trust and respect and shared vision. The United States wants to protect its own interests and demand fairness. The European Union seeks unity, balance, and long-term sustainability. Ukraine seeks survival, sovereignty, and freedom. The fact that all three were able to come together and find common ground, even if limited, was seen as a step forward in a world full of division. This gathering will be remembered as a moment when the future of Eastern Europe was openly discussed at the highest level, and when the leaders of America, Europe, and Ukraine tried to find ways to prevent war from spreading further while giving hope to millions who live under threat. It did not solve every problem, but it did show that dialogue, cooperation.
On Friday, United States President Donald Trump made a significant visit to Russia, marking a moment of high political and diplomatic attention across the world. The trip had been discussed for weeks